Everyone, my name is Ruber Velasquez. I'm a business consultant for the Florida SBDC IFIU. Welcome everyone to this webinar. Today we're going to talk about how to implement an initial sales strategy for those of you who are starting your business, for those of you who are considering initiating or starting a project as well. Some of you might know me already from the SBDC. Probably we've been having sessions before. I've been an entrepreneur myself for more than 20 years. And in the last couple of years, I've been part of the SBDC as a consultant, uh, mostly in the areas of business planning, sales strategies, business implementation strategies. So I hope you enjoy this webinar and we can have new concepts to apply in our new businesses. Just a little overview of our program. We basically are part of the BizGap program, which is the Business Growth and Acceleration Program. It's a program that is part of the BDC. The BizGap program has been designed for the District 27th in Miami-Dade, although we also provide partnerships with other districts and in the Miami-Dade County and Monroe counties as well. The SBDC is part of the Small Business Association. We basically provide one-on-one business consulting, and we started in 2014. Through the end of 2022, 2023, 2024 as well, we have provided the following client outcomes in Miami-Dade and the Florida Keys. As you can see, the metrics over there, around 120,000 hours of consulting, around 8,000 entrepreneurs, small business owners assisted during this time. I would say at this point, more than 500 businesses have been launched, and capital access, government contracts, and increased revenues as well are part of our metrics. Here are some of the activities that the SBDC perform with the community in Miami-Dade and Monroe counties. And now a little bit more on the SBDC, the BizGap, sorry. As I was telling you, the BizGap is related to certain districts in Miami. Our main goal is to generate impact in those communities that would need special assistance for entrepreneurs and small business owners in these growing communities. Also assistance in starting up and business growth. These are some of the numbers that we have performed so far with the BizGap program until today. Well, I would say that more than those numbers have been achieved, especially during the last 6 months of the year. Well, a little bit more on the BizGap area. This is the Florida's 27th congressional district where we have been basically generating our impact. All right, so getting specifically into today's topic, what is a sales strategy and how would this impact your business? So a sales strategy is your plan for finding customers and selling your product or service. I think we all hear about sales when we start doing our business plans at the beginning, and we have our ideas and projects in our hands. However, just a few times we really start creating a sales strategy. We know where to sell, we know what we want to sell, but we don't know specifically how to create a sales strategy. And that's part of what we're going to discuss today. Why is important for new businesses? Well, because a good strategy and a clear strategy would basically create a good plan for you. Again, I've been probably in your shoes, and I still consider I am in your shoes during this time of my entrepreneurial life. Definitely once we start a business, once we start a project, we go out to market And most of the times, we don't have a real sales strategy. We know what we want to sell, how we want to sell it. Sometimes we got the price right. Sometimes we don't even know how to price the products, but we don't have a sales strategy. So that's the reason why it's really, really important. So there might be some simple strategies just to start with a plan or with a sales plan. Okay. um, and the sales strategies will be related to focus on niche markets. For example, just generate certain specific niche markets where you know your product will sell best, and you know that your product will be totally accepted. So that's a simple strategy. As long as you have that clear, then you can start developing a sales strategy. Um, if you are planning to sell a product online, then you have to strengthen your online presence. And then that's a sales strategy as well. You just create a simple strategy oriented to where your product is going to be sell the most. I'm talking about more on the specific platform. If it's retail, if it's online, if it's wholesale, whatever it is, you dedicate your efforts to that specific platform. Another simple sales strategy could be related to customer service. Uh, Most of the time, we do think we know what the customer wants. But once we start doing our business, that's the time that we realize that customers are willing, or they're looking for something else, or their need is different to what we're offering. So it's very important to listen to the customer from the beginning and create a good relationship with your customer through um, a real customer service program. That's very important, and that's a simple strategy. If you start, if that's your start point on creating confidence with your customers and trust, that's definitely a simple sales strategy. Another example of a simple sales strategy would be to test your products. Go out to market and try to test your products before you start, let's say, moving forward into different commercial avenues. So if you test your products in the market, sometimes you don't even have to go to market to do that. You can go and do it beforehand and test your products. You can create focus groups. You can go to friends and family and test your products as well. So try to do a test of your products, and based on that, you start creating the most convenient sales strategy for your product. Um, Another simple sales strategy or start with a new project is create a partnership. Sometimes you have a good idea, but you don't know how to implement it. And there might be people around you that probably know better how to implement that specific idea. Sometimes it's the other way around, and I've seen it in many cases. Sometimes there's funds that are available to generate something, but you don't know where to put them. You don't know what to start. You know you want to start something, but you don't know what to start. So probably the best way to go will be to start talking to people that would have ideas or would like to create something, and you create a partnership the other way around. So creating a good partnership could be a good sales strategy just to go out to market. Um, Marketing, that's a concept that we've been talking about many times, and I think you hear it almost every day nowadays. Digital marketing, propaganda, anything related to ads. But marketing, it's a whole world that will encompass different kind of ideas. So creating a really clear marketing content for your product or for your service, it's very important. How are you going to go to market? How are you going to sell your product? How are you going to promote it? That's very important. And if you start that way, that's another simple way to create a simple strategy for sales. Networking, very important. Very, very important. Sometimes before creating a business or starting up a business, it's very important to generate a community, to be part of a community that it's already in that specific type of business. Being in communities that are part of specific industry usually guide you around. You usually find mentors over there, and you usually get to know what other people know by experience. So you don't have to go through those bad experiences, and then you can jump probably into a different stage of your sales process. So going into networking, being part of communities, doing electronic interaction, being part of social media communities in LinkedIn, for example, that would give you a big, a very good leverage, so you could start creating a good sales strategy. Um, Very important when you are starting business, it's very important to create a cost effective business model, meaning that even if you have the funds to start it, always try to control your expenses and your costs at the beginning. It's very important. And from there on, you can also start creating sales strategies, because that will give you the leverage of having a very competitive pricing. So that's another way to generate a simple strategy. Um, Based on this, you could just keep moving forward into the next stages. Getting to know your customers, how to figure out who your customers are. Well, part of what we have discussed before, that it's related to getting to know where your product is going to go, understanding the segments where your products could be sold, identifying clearly where do you want to sell, in what kind of platform do you want to sell. That's important to get to figure out how your customers, who your customers are, and how are you going to sell them. It's very important to understand that most of the times when you start selling something, is not related to creating the next big thing. Sometimes it's about solving problems, solving challenges for your customers, and that's one of the let's say main issues that you can definitely appoint when you are trying to get to know who your customers are and where to go. So if you have a product and you understand that you identify a specific challenge or a specific need from potential customers, your customer base will start growing on that specific aspect of solution. Um, Targeting the right people. Sometimes it's difficult to understand that part. And to be honest with you, I don't think that's something that you figure out from the beginning. That it's something that you just start just getting to know your customers through the process. So a good exercise to start creating an initial idea of what your customers or who your customers could be. It's to create a customer profile, and it's like a role, and create a role, and consider that one a buyer of your product. And once you create that, you could do it, with, again, a focus group or people alongside you, someone that will be willing to be your customer. That would definitely make you identify who your customer could be. Another way to do it is to generate eventually certain or using certain AI softwares, programs, apps at this point, and you can just ask that specific platform who your customer could be, or how would you consider my product or my service would be, let's say, well received for certain communities. And you will receive a lot of feedback from these specific tools. From there on, you can also create a customer profile and get to know who your customers are. Okay, so now we're getting into how to set your first sales goals. And it's very important how to set simple and realistic sales targets. Um, if you want to create a sales program, it's very important to start talking about budgets and talking about forecast and revenues. Um, it's important, and that's something that I stressed. I've been stressing with my customers during this time, that if you have a plan, if you have a budget, if you have a forecast or sales goals, it will be much easier to move forward in the market. So the simple way to create a realistic sales target is to understand your product first, understand the price that you're going to go out to market, and generate certain expectations through the markets or the segments that you're going to go. So, for example, if you are going to uh, sell pens, and the pens are going to be sold during the first 3 months in a specific market segment, that for you to know the amount of stores where you're going to sell the pens. Let's say it's something that you can quantify and you can identify. Let's say you're going to sell it into 5 stores, and each of those stores you project and you estimate that you're going to sell 5 pens in each of these stores. So basically, at the end of the month, you're going to sell 25 pens. You multiply that number by the price that you have per unit, the cost per unit that you put to your customer, and that's already giving you a number of a projected or estimated forecast. And that's how you start just generating simple sales goals. These are very simple sales goals based on perception. Now, you can start with big ideas, big goals, big expectations for your products. The way I would suggest is that you start small, and from small you start going, into the big picture or different kind of segments as well that will create more added value to your product and will generate more volumes for your sales. So just try to start slow. Try to start with low volumes, low quantities, and from there on, you start generating a different scenario for your products. Again, I'll suggest strongly that every time you're going to start with a revenues or a sales plan, try always to do it in a way in which you can escalate those sales into larger sales. Don't start with large sales. Don't start with large expectations. Just start with, slow processes and low volumes. Tracking progresses, start with the basic spreadsheet. Again, as I was telling you, you do a budget, you start with a simple spreadsheet, you know how many units you're going to sell, you know the pricing point, and you have an idea or you have an expectation of low volumes to start with in the first 3 months, go to the next quarter, increase it, go to the other quarter, increase a little bit more, and go to the end of the year, and probably your sales are going to look much different. Set those goals in a way in which it's not going to be complicated for you also to read them. So create simple spreadsheets. Don't create crazy or complicated spreadsheets, because then it's going to be more difficult for you to understand where the numbers are coming from and how are you going to compare these numbers to the actual numbers that your business is going to perform. I think we discussed a little bit about this before, which is how to find your first customers, where to look for customers. It depends on the kind of segment. It depends on the kind of products. It depends of the kind of markets that you are approaching. But usually, my suggestion is to generate an initial sales pitch and probably put it under test trial with your friends and family. That's probably your first option when you're starting with a business. Once you jump into the next level, then you go to local communities, you go into online platforms, but you can also find customers in different kind of networking events, okay? And here's something that I discuss with my clients permanently. Um, One of the, I would say, most effective ways to start getting to know people in your business is going into the trade shows, specifically for your industry. The trade shows is, I would say, it's one of the activities that probably even after COVID and even after the online presence in the market more than 25, 30 years ago, hasn't stopped uh, being happening in any of the industries that I know of and any of the services I know of. These kind of events are the ones that definitely generate the most potential possibilities for you to acquire as many contacts as possible without getting to know them or without getting into the stress of cold calling, the stress of soliciting, the stress of introducing yourself with people that you don't know. When you are in a trade show, part of that, let's say, ice breaking stage, it's covered already. Because if you are there, the person that it's on the other side, it's also there for the same reason, which is getting to know people in the industry and increase possibilities to start, selling and increasing businesses, for their companies and their projects. So try to keep doing trade shows, go to networking events of your industry as well. You can do them, digital, virtual, but you can do it in person. Okay, there's so many networking opportunities nowadays in which you don't have to pay anything and you get to know people from your industry. And that's a good way to start creating a path to new customers. One of the I would say social media platforms that I use the most and I encourage my customers the most when they're selling services or products is LinkedIn. Of course, this applies more for a business to business kind of project than a business to consumer type, but you never know. There might be communities for business to consumer in LinkedIn that would create a great opportunity for you to start finding customers through social media as well. Again, always in the social media and digital world, in the online, just be careful with scams, phishing, those kind of things that will basically put you in jeopardy and will create another issue for your business. But if you try to go to the right networks, if you try to deal with the right people, if you understand and validate the contacts that you're getting to know day by day, I guarantee you that customers will definitely knock on your door or will start knocking on your door. Building confidence in selling. This is probably, I would say, the biggest challenge that we all have when we are starting a business, because I would consider and I would say that generating the infrastructure for the business, I would say that creating an operation for your business, even finding suppliers for your business, or or getting knowledge for offering a service, are probably part of of what you consider it's what needs to be done when starting a new business. Now, the following part, which is making a sale, that's what really creates that kind of a challenge. It Basically the word that I hear permanently is that there are fears to go out and hear a lot of no's, a lot of rejection. We are not ready for any of that. Any of us is ready for any of that. But one of the most important, I would say, characteristics that you develop when you are an entrepreneur and you start selling your business, it's overcoming the fear, discomfort of selling, and the discomfort of the rejection, as I was telling you. If we understand that it doesn't matter what the other part says, considers, thinks about you, but you have confidence in what you're doing, believe me, you're going to create that kind of self-confidence in yourself, and you're going to start just moving forward towards different goals, which are not related to what people think about you, are more related to what you can get out of your business and the confidence that you will create on that potential buyer to buy your product. Um, I think most of us, and I would say probably all of us, we believe in our products. We stand behind our products. We stand behind our services. But sometimes it's probably kind of difficult to understand that we need to convince people on the other side of the same conviction that we have about our business and our products and our services. The confidence that we demonstrate on our sales pitch is the confidence that our customers or potential customers are going to get about what we're trying to sell, either a service or a product. So that's very important, and I stress that out as well with my clients permanently. I could understand that there are fears. I could understand that there's handling rejection is not easy, But if you overcome that part, if you focus on your product, if you focus on your service, and if you focus in your specific need, I'm pretty much sure that you will overcome that discomfort level quickly, and you will feel more comfortable every time you approach new people and new customers. And sales are going to start coming, and that will start generating the results you need to create that self-confidence and keep selling your product. And that's how companies grow. Okay, choosing how you will sell. Again, I think I went through this point briefly a few minutes ago. There are different ways to sell, and it also depends on what your audience is. If there are basically two different audiences when you are starting a business. Either you create a business to sell services, products, items to another business, or you create a business to sell your products, services, items to a consumer. So this is what we call B2B, business to business, or B2C, business to consumer. Once you have that clear, once you understand um, your specific audience, then you start generating the most important tools of how you will sell. So you will find the platform where you will sell, you will find the segments where you will sell, you will find the distribution channels that you would use to make your products get into your customers' hands. Um, it's very, very important to have this specific part clear. Okay, it doesn't mean that if you have a product that is selling to business, cannot be basically transformed uh, in a product that could be sold to consumers, and vice versa. There might be times in which you start selling a product to a consumer, and based on the good performance and based on the success of that specific item, it could go into a business. Okay, so services, they go the same way. Just a quick example that probably comes to my mind. I have a customer that started a business of um, performing coaching one-on-one to people in the companies. Um, the let's say the service and what this person was providing was so successful that they decided that this could go into groups, and once they broke it down into groups, they decided that this could go corporate. So if you can tell, the initial, I'm talking about a service, is easier on the products part, but the service part is a little more difficult to take it from consumer to a business. So if you realize this person started a business on selling to a end consumer, and she ended up selling this product to major corporations, and it was a service, just coaching sessions for certain specific topics that are very critical for corporations and its employees. So it is important that you have that clear. You create a business for selling to consumers, to selling to a business, but it doesn't mean that it cannot be transformed the other way around. Now, picking the method that works best for your business and budget is very, very important. Yes, we could have many ideas. We could have many ways on how to sell our products, but some of them might be expensive. And here's an example. When you start selling a product in Amazon, sometimes you consider your product is going to be successful enough to be accepted by different kind of consumers and consumers. However, there might be products that are probably suitable to be transported into regular couriers with low costs, and there might be products that are heavy or they have huge volumes, a huge dimensional volume that would basically be very expensive to be taken into the customer's hands, and that's something very important to consider. So picking the method of how are you going to sell your product and how the customer is going to receive it is very, very important. Sometimes there are components in the cost part of the products that are not related to the cost of the product itself, but are related to transportation, are related to logistics, are related to the supply chain of the product, that if you don't consider it in advance, then you might have some costing and budget issues. So that's why it's very important to pick the method that works best for your product, so that way you can just deliver efficiently. Again, keep it simple. That's been probably the main part of this webinar. Keep it simple. You don't need fancy tools to start. That's very important. Always keep it simple. Always think the most easiest way to do it, the most logical way to do it, because usually that's the best way to go out of market. Okay, now we're going to talk about simple tools to help you stay organized. So let's say once we ramp up sales, once we have generated a good scenario for our products or our services, um, it's very important to keep track of what you're doing. Uh, and the reason why it's very important is because nowadays, metrics, data, analytics, information, I would say it's a key element just to keep moving forward in your business. And probably it's a key element that would make your business go to the next level and to the next stage. So just try to go simple, but try to keep data from your business from day one. When I say that is try to keep data of the information or the feedback that you receive from the focus groups. Try to get data that you get from the initial customers. Try to put data in a simple spreadsheet of the information that you get as a feedback from the test trials that you start in the market. Okay. Also, if you are planning to start a new business, and you definitely, and I'll suggest, do market research, try to put all that data and into simple spreadsheets that you could later on convert into probably a little more complex type of platforms or analytical tools or dashboards that would basically give you the ability to check your information in a much easier way, like dashboards, graphics, data analysis, so that way you don't have to go through all this information on a spreadsheet that has been basically growing fast, but you can just transform it and convert it into some graphics or into information that you can read in a different way. Okay. um, it is important to understand how these tools not just will help you keep your business under control, but how these tools will help you increase your customer service, increase your possibilities with your customers, probably diversify your business as well, understand potential opportunities for new products, for new services that you can adapt to what you are already offering. So it's very, very important that you keep these tools, by your side, that you stay organized, that you sit down at night and check, at the end of the day, the results of your sales, the results of of your costs. Probably by the end of the month, check your financials, check, how your profits are moving forward, how your numbers are moving forward, and how you could use that information in the best way possible for increasing possibilities of your business. So staying organized, um, seeing the information, checking results, and tracking customers, suppliers, employees, and cost in using different kind of tools. I would definitely stress it, and I will encourage all of you to stay organized from day one. Okay, so it's important as well to track your progress. Yeah, we talk about how to keep the information organized. Now, how are you going to track your progress? I mentioned it probably a few minutes before, in terms of um, it's important for all of us as entrepreneurs from the beginning, um, to get involved as well into the numbers of your company. Yeah, it's important to create a business. It's important to generate sales. Yes, it's important to have a good supplier. It's important to have a good partner. It's important to have good help around you, but it's also important that you keep track of your progress, of yourself. And the best way to do it, I would say, it's to understand your initial accounting books. Let's call it. Let's don't even talk to about financial statements. Let's talk about accounting books. Um, check how your business is getting into um, different stages of cost, different stages of profit or loss, different stages of employees' expenses. Um, learn um, how to read those numbers. And the reason I'm telling you this is because in my experience as a consultant, I realized that I've got so many customers. Very successful, most of them. And I could say that a good 50% of them were not aware of how to handle those numbers because either an external accountant or an in-house accountant or a bookkeeper was taking care of them. Okay, it's very important that you keep track of your progress. It's very important that you understand your numbers. It's very important that you understand the trends of your customers. How are they changing? Okay, not everything is going to go the way you consider it's going to go. And that's something that I always say to everyone and all my clients. Uh, there are things or projects inside your company. I'm not talking about the big project, but inside your company, there might be new items, there might be lines that never succeeded. Okay. Don't stay much there. Just try to move on and try to put another one and learn from it. Okay. I think that failure and having not very successful product lines or successful offerings in your business are part of the game. Okay, and you need to understand that part, but you need to learn from there. Okay, so yeah, learn from successes as well. Okay, it's very important as well to enjoy that part, but not just enjoy it, but understand that there might be possibilities to growth in a different way. I know people that have been growing exponentially from just one success and five failures, just to say a number. Okay. But the success, they focus so much in the success and they learn and they digested the failures that it put them basically in a different stage of their project and of their business. So again, just make sure that learning from both, from successes and failures, is part of the game. And always start when you start making changes, start simple. Again, always think with logic. Not always, and usually not even most of the times, the major challenges are generated by a major situation. Usually it's because something simple didn't, was not taken care of on time and generated a big problem. So same thing with, when creating changes or improving strategies or trying to find solutions. Go from the simple one, the most logical one. If it wasn't that one or if it didn't work, then go to another level of solving the situation, okay? Or use different tools to solve it or different people that could help you to solve it. But try always to go from the most logical to the basic one all the way up to the more complex possibilities. All right. So so far, I think we've been going through very simple strategies of how to generate sales strategy and how to generate simple strategies for your business just to move forward. So if you have any questions, uh, I'll be open to respond. Okay, so it says I got some customers around looking for. Okay, so it's okay. Oh yeah. Hi Jose, how are you? Yeah, yeah. We've been meeting in the past. Okay, perfect. Um, yeah, okay. All right, here. Great. Okay, how would you consider a customer would rely on a potential product that could go out of market without knowing if it's going to be useful for him? Yeah, that's a very good question. Usually, we don't know what customers will think about this. Okay, customers will basically create and generate expectations based on offers. And remember, customers get offers from different type of suppliers and different kind of vendors. So just understanding that you are just one of them and that you will create added value for what they need, just will basically put you in a different position. Again, always expect a potential rejection from that customer, but you don't know what he is exactly expecting, um, from you until you offer the product. So sometimes you might have the solution for what he's looking for, but if you don't know how to express it and if you don't know how to put the added value to that product, you would probably won't know exactly if the product is going to be useful for this customer or not. All right. So, yeah, thank you very much. You're welcome, Camila. Okay. Good morning, Sean. Perfect. All right. So, if there are not any other questions, just here is our information. Feel free to connect with us. Um, Make sure that you go and check most of these webinars are recorded and you can find them at the SBDC YouTube channel. And again, I encourage all of you to keep using these resources that are basically there for you guys. Keep growing with your businesses and feel free to contact us anytime. Any one of our consultants will definitely take care of your specific needs. Um, Thank you very much. Here's the you can scan this code as well, so you can get a request a meeting with any of our business consultants. Thank you very much, and good afternoon to all of you.